Hi, it's Bill Palm again, and guess what? We're going to have one more clip. I recalled a technique that I want to show you that's very handy for strengthening your compositions when you think it might apply, and in this case I think it will apply. And that is using a glaze in from the corners. My glaze over here in my palette is mixed of permanent alizarin crimson and cobalt violet. I'm using cobalt in particular because it's a rather weak blue and it won't be too intense and it can indicate some kind of arbitrary shadows on the edges. So what you do is you tone down the edges here a bit, and that draws the viewer's eye into the center area a little bit more to highlight the bird and the cliffs and the water here. So let's get going with this. It's very important when you do this to have a very wet mix, and also to have a second brush handy with your water in it so you can soften the edges of this glaze very quickly. So I'm going to come in from the side here like this. Notice it's coming in here like that, just nice and loose. Then I soften up the edges of this, and if I get it a little too dark, I'm going to come in with a Kleenex and wipe it back a little bit. I got a little spill over the edge of my paper here that I don't want leaking back in. I rinse out my brush with water, get it ready, come in from the other side over here on the sand, same game plan. Just brushing it in here. This takes a little bit of courage because you can potentially really mess up a painting if you do it a little too dark or a little too much. Coming in with the water once again to soften the edges and make them kind of like disappear. We don't want hard edges on even an arbitrary shadow like that. Okay, then I come up over here at this one additional area, and I want to do the same thing right here in the cliffs, because I got a lot of bright colored cliffs at the edge of the paper, and I don't want the viewer to get too excited over there at the edge. I want them to come in more toward the bird. And you can see that that almost is perfect even without some water to soften things down a little bit. Okay, go under the bird a little bit. There. Now I will post this on my blog, a picture of this after it dries, because we're not going to have time on this tape for these glazes to dry. So what I did was I glazed. That's a very light coat of alizarin crimson, permanent alizarin crimson, and cobalt blue, and came in forming kind of a purple. And this combination of pigments works in a lot of different kind of paintings for this sort of thing. I didn't do this in the sky because that's a little too touchy and I might mess up my nice sky, but it works here, drawing your eye in, making this duller, toned down on the edges right here like that. So I hope this series, this will be very likely, unless I change my mind, the last clip on this long series of 16 clips, and so I hope this has been helpful to you, and I hope you will come back to my blog from time to time and see what I come up with on hints on watercolor techniques that really help your watercolors and take them up to a higher level perhaps than what you're getting now as you paint. So bye bye for now.